Hello, and welcome to Nursing Life 101. We're so excited to have you here with us as we dive into the world of nursing, sharing real stories, practical tips, and a little fun along the way. I'm Christopher.
And I'm Colby. Together, we're here to talk about all things nursing. The lessons, the laughs, and the things no one warned you about in nursing school.
And today, we're tackling something every nurse needs but hardly ever feels comfortable taking, PTO.
That's right, paid time off. You've earned it, you deserve it, and we're going to talk about when to actually use it without guilt.
Because let's be honest, in nursing, sometimes taking time off feels harder than picking up a double. So let's start from the top. What even is PTO?
It's basically your earned time off that you can use however you need. Vacation, personal days, sick time, depending on your facility's policy, of course.
Exactly. And the key word here is earned. PTO usually builds up the longer you work. So those hours add up with every shift you survive.
And most places lump it all together these days, one big PTO bank instead of separate vacation and sick days.
So when did you realize your PTO was like something that accrued? Did you know about PTO when you first started?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that was I knew that I accrued it. Every job that I've ever had, I've accrued it, which is nice. But of course, with the exception of traveling, we didn't accrue PTO. Some companies do offer that, but my travel company didn't. So you would just schedule the days off that you wanted into your contract.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I knew that I definitely got that understanding immediately. I was like, all right, I'm accruing. It was the first job that I ever earned that benefit. So that was pretty cool. How about you? Did you have a different, was it always lump sum, earned, accrued, automatically given?
Well, I mean, I didn't have many jobs before being a nurse, and really and truly, I was a home health aide prior. And did we accrue PTO? I have no clue. I don't think we did because I technically I wasn't full time. So I had benefits, but it wasn't, maybe I did accrue some PTO. I don't remember. I probably did. I don't know, but I rarely used it. So it was just I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I feel like you'll find most of the time in hospitals it's an accrual thing, but a lot of times if you work in a private practice, office setting, outpatient surgery, mostly private practice is where you're going to find a lot of differentiation where you automatically, and also we learned recently there's state laws that kind of mandatory things too, which we didn't realize. We were talking about that the other night. But yeah, I mean, you have to be aware of what your benefits package is. It's going to differ a little bit for everybody.
For sure. If you're new to nursing, check your policy because every hospital handles PTO differently. Some require a year before you can use it, and others that you dip in early.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, our health system does allow you to dip into it early.
Yeah, I just was looking into that when I took the Chronos, which is our timekeeping class for managers, and they can tap into I think they get an advance of 34 hours, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that we can kind of give in advance. They get the advance if they have something that's planned when they start their job. But it has to be, in the way to use it, you have to have the vacation planned, when you accept the position.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not it's very tricky. There's a lot of loophole. There's a lot of small word jargon that you need to be aware of.
And I mean,
fine print is what I'm looking for.
For sure.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. And one thing in terms of interviewing, you probably should ask a little bit about what PTO looks like in terms of your unit that you're working for. Or, I mean, I guess really and truly just anywhere you're working. It doesn't even have to be a unit. And so, make sure that you're just paying attention to wherever you go. It's important. it's your paid time off.
Yeah, if you know you're gonna have a vacation coming up and you're starting a new job, it's something you wanna get, like, in writing. In writing, specifically. Like, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, yeah. Well, they told me it was okay." And then flash forward, it's 2 weeks before your vacation, everything's booked, you have your flights, you've paid all this money, and they're like, "We never said that, so get it in writing."
And I think sometimes it might feel like they were being malicious and they, like, did not want to give you the time off, but your managers are humans too, and they forget.
Mhm.
So putting it in writing helps you
Paper
help them
trail.
remember.
Yeah. It's a paper trail.
It is a paper trail, and it's important.
It is.
And, we just recently had one of our hiking group friends deal with that.
Yeah, so it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's paid time off, but there's also requested time off. So here's where it gets fun. RTO and PTO, two totally different things.
Right. RTO blocks your schedule without actually using PTO hours, which means with smart planning, you can get more days off without burning your time bank, your PTO time bank.
Yeah, if you were lucky to work the 12-hour shift schedule, or even like a 4-10-hour shift schedule, you can block your schedule and kind of use requested time off, or like we also use something called unavailable. So you can block your schedule so that you can work the days that you want, stack your shifts, and then get more days off in the middle and not use your PTO.
Yeah. And, it's one of those, there's an importance in being able to use RTO or like asking for time off, because it allows you to ensure that you can go to a little vacation without having to use the PTO. But I guess my question would be with RTO, like, make sure there's an importance in using PTO. Like, you should use PTO, and RTO is good, but do you ever feel like RTO is as good as PTO? Like, do you think there's, for your mental health mainly, like for
I think
rejuvenation and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's a really fine line, right? So like you still get days off, but you're still working the same required amount of hours for that is like what your job description entails. I think and I did this for years. When I worked night shift, I would work 3, be off 1, then work 3 more shifts, and then I would be off for 6 in a row. And it was a way I never had to use my PTO. And instead of using my PTO, our healthcare facility allows us to cash out some PTO twice a year, a certain amount, not everything, but I would bank up so much PTO and not be using it that I would cash it out so that I could pay off student loans or credit card bills or whatever when I was really poor. So is that the best way to do it? No, I don't think so. But is it a good way to do it if you one, don't want to waste your PTO? Well, I wouldn't call it a waste, but if you want to like save as much as you can and use it for different reasons. Now, I agree. I see what you're getting at, and I kind of agree with maybe you're just asking devil's advocate and asking the question, but I truly don't think, and I can speak for experience having done it, that when you stack your days up like that to get days off also stacked up, you're usually burnt out the first 2 days. You can't do anything anyways, or you're just muscle and pushing it through and being like, all right, I'm going on vacation, and I did this. I like worked 6 days in a row basically, and then went to the airport, got on an airplane, like flew to Mexico, stayed there for 4 or 5 days, then flew back, then came back, and then immediately had to go back to work. Like,
yeah, that's a lot.
Was that my smartest move? No. But was I like 22 and like having a good time? Yes. Could I do that today? No, probably not. Not without being absolutely miserable and like having like a 40-hour sleep debt. But when you're young and you have so much energy, go for it. Yeah. But also be careful, because you're going to encroach on burnout really fast.
Yeah. I mean, I was one. I mean, obviously, I rarely use PTO, so I love a good old fashioned working on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of the first week, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday of
yep.
the last week. I mean, that you get I wish I knew the
It's 6
date.
days.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because that's what I would do.
Oh, okay.
I would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, be off Sunday, and then I'd come back and work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I would be off until the following Thursday, and then work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So
That's a lot.
it was a lot. It would be like 6 days in a row, almost. It'd be broken up by
Yeah,
one
by
day.
one day. But I mean, you could do that without you could work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is
7 days.
7 days
Yeah.
off.
And then you come back and you have to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But
and then you can work whatever amount on the other week. You don't have to do Saturday,
but I
or
work
Sunday,
night
Monday,
shift. So
yeah, that's
I just wanted to get my night shifts out of the way and be a night shift person for a week. And that way I could, with the flipping back and forth, because there's a lot of ways you can do night shift. This is kind of, now we're getting off on a tangent. But for me, what worked best was staying in the night shift mode for that week while I'm working. And then I didn't like to be a night shifter really. I enjoyed being a day walker. And so when I wasn't working, I was up and at 'em at 7 o'clock in the morning and spending the entire day awake, where a lot of people not a lot, but they're, like I said, people do it differently. People I knew who just kept a night shift schedule all the time, and and you always slept during the day regardless whether you were working that day or not.
I was awake when the night was awake.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do that. I'm more social than you are.
But the thing is, I got up at 4 p.m. and most people, if they wanted to hang out, it was usually between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. So I still hung out with them around that time. And actually, I was a lot more awake than I would have been if I was to be in day shift, at least in my opinion.
Well, everybody works differently.
For
me, I was awake at 7 a.m., had a coffee, I was ready to go. If I worked the night before and it was my first day off, I'd go home and I'd take a nap till 10 a.m. And then I'd be up from 10 a.m. and get right back on a day shift schedule. And I'd be fine. I could do that for years. Could I do that today at 33, almost 34 years old? Probably not. But at 23, I could do it like nothing.
I wonder what, scientifically, what's better for you?
I think keeping as much of a regular schedule.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
So mine would be better than
yours. Would be better. Mine would be second option. And then what would be absolutely the worst option would be to working a schedule that flips multiple times throughout the week.
Right.
Staying for 1 week and then going back. As much as regular as you can be is better for your body.
Well, I'm glad I could do that. That was a pat on my back. So, yeah, I mean, I to your point, and what I was trying to get at and was kind of hinting at is using RTO is good, and it allows you to have those moments of relaxation and, like I said, 6-7 days off. But make sure that those 6 or 7 days off are it's not to the expense of you being burned out on those 6 days together, or those 3. If you say to your manager, or if you say to most people, I can't do 3 days in a row, you probably shouldn't do this with the RTO.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to work with you if you're going to be crotchety and but it's true. And honestly, are you going to be safe for patients? Is there a reason why you're saying you can't do 3 days in a row? And is it because you're fearing that you would be a detriment to your patient? If that's the case, please. Yeah,
don't let yourself turn into Nurse Ratched at the expense of your patients and coworkers.
Right.
Just use your PTO. That's why you get it as a benefit. And that's why you originally worked the hours you worked. You earned it. So you should use it.
And you can still use your RTO in conjunction with your PTO. You can say, I can work Monday, Tuesday. Man, I can't get the days right. So I can work Sunday, Monday, and take a PTO that week.
Mm-hmm.
So you work 2 days that week, and then don't come back until. I wish y'all could see my brain fizzling out.
You work Sunday, Monday. You don't come back to the following Friday, Saturday.
Right, and
Yeah.
take Thursday as a PTO.
Yeah, and
So,
that's
like,
only
you only
using
need 2.
2 PTO days,
Right.
yeah. You can really work it as,
Yeah.
like, all kinds of combinations. Who's like, you could do that and then take 3 days the next week and then take only 2 days the next week and come back, like, almost 4 weeks later, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, you have such a working a 3 12-hour schedule or 4 10-hour schedule, like, the flexibility with how much time you can get off with using, like, a very small amount of PTO and utilizing RTO at the same time, that combination is like a winning lottery ticket.
Yeah.
When you can work the system both ways. Ugh,
Exactly.
that's chef's kiss.
Yeah. It's truly all about learning the system and making it work for you, because burnout doesn't come with a warning light. It really doesn't.
Sure doesn't. Just gonna smack you in the face.
And you're done.
And you're done. All right, it's time for scrub hacks. Those quick, practical tips that make surviving your shift a little easier.
Because let's be honest, anything that saves time, sanity, or stress deserves a round of applause, or at least a coffee break.
Yeah. So, how to use PTO like a pro. We just talked a little bit about it, but today's hack is all about being strategic with your time off, because you earned it and you got to use it wisely.
Let's break it down.
All right. Plan in advance. Submit your PTO requests early, especially around the holidays or summer months when staffing gets tight. And a lot of your units or departments may have a time period where they open up PTO requests for around big times where a lot of people want to request PTO at the same time to make it most fair.
Yeah, or either do that, or they might have like legit. We've talked about this before. Holiday groups where
Scheduling, yep.
you kind of know at least what holiday you're going to work, but you are allowed to. Well, one thing that I started implementing in the clinic that I manage now is that only one. What is the? I wish I would have read it before talking about this. It's like 1 or 2 nurses per holiday, like big holiday, summer or winter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a rotation, so that not everyone is getting to be able to be off 2 weeks right before Christmas and then also take Christmas off. Because I mean,
I'm making a face because it's a problem in my current department and it'll be a problem I have to tackle.
yes, and that wasn't, yeah, but it is a problem not only in my unit or clinic, but Colby's, and I'm sure is something that is dealt with in a lot of different units and clinics, and probably just jobs in general. Like, people love their holidays.
Yeah. There's, certain times of the year where people don't want to be at work. Can't blame them. Me
Right.
either.
Right.
But we have to, it's our job as management to make sure that it's fair for everybody. Everybody gets free and equal chance to have the opportunity to take time off.
As equitable as we can.
As equitable as we can. We
Yeah.
love that word, equitable.
But it all boils down to making sure you submit your PTO early.
Yes.
And just make sure that the manager makes that equitable decision, so that either you are able to take that PTO or that person that asked for it first, or like you decided to work for that manager and that unit, because I hope that you believe that manager or unit is where you're supposed to be, so that you've got to trust that they're going to do you right.
Yeah. All right. Number 2, use RTO to your advantage. Build mini vacations between schedule blocks, but keep yourself in check.
Ooh, keep yourself in check. Why? How?
So that you're not using RTO and then burning yourself out, like we just talked about.
Oh. Of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, for sure. And I'm about to make a hot take.
Okay.
And we'll talk about this more later. But PTO, in my mind, is meant for 2 things: vacation, or if you're on your deathbed.
Meaning you're sick.
Like seriously sick. You're gonna actually get a person sick. I say that because I am not one to be like, oh, I'm gonna take a mental health day. I think you should, as a responsible adult and nurse, you should be able to plan those out ahead of time. Unless, and once again, unless there is some tragic thing that happened, I don't think you should take PTO for mental health.
What? Okay, agree to disagree. But also, you're saying to plan your mental health days out in advance, which is still using your PTO.
Yeah, plan it.
Yeah,
It's a vacation.
you're saying don't just call out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's different.
Well, no, it's not, because people are like, I'm just using my PTO. Prepare the others. Like.
Oh, I was gonna get into this. Hold on. Okay. Anyways, don't hoard it. You can't use PTO after you burn out. Schedule regular reset days before you hit that wall, and that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The way you said it makes it sound like you're being super tough about it, but we're all in agreement. I think you should schedule days off. You see you worked like 3 months and you didn't take any time off. You check the PTO that's availability in your bank account, basically is what I'm going to call it. And then a lot of units can show, like, we keep track of it. So you can see like what PTO is available that week, because we will limit how many people can be off at the same time. And if you see, oh, hey, it looks like there's like 24 hours of PTO available that nobody claimed, let me request it and see if I can get it off, because, I really could use some days off. Like, it's better for everybody if you plan ahead. But I also support a mental health day. I mean, sometimes people wake up and they just had like the worst succession of shifts of their life, and they're like, I can't go back in. And you know what? I get that. If you need to call out, you need to call out. We'll figure it out. Don't abuse it, but yeah. And then, do you want to share 4 and 5?
Sync with your team. So communicate with your manager and coworkers so your time off doesn't leave them drowning. Teamwork keeps morale high. And I mean, it goes back to, I think what we're trying to hint at is, like, you don't necessarily have to ask your team if you can take PTO off. But I mean, your manager is going to make sure that it's balanced, and you're not like trying to. If you see that there are supposed to be 3 techs on that day and 2 have already, asked for PTO off, then don't make the manager tell you no.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, really?
Because the answer is going to be no.
It's going to be no.
Yeah.
And we don't like saying no. It's not like we're sitting here like, oh, yes. Let me say
I can't wait to crush their dreams.
Woohoo. But we definitely want you to just be responsible and look ahead. Know your policy. Some hospitals wipe unused PTO at the end of the year. Don't lose it because you were too selfless to take it. Ooh.
Yeah, that's true. I think, again, I think most hospital systems have kind of switched to get away from that kind of thing, but still a lot of private practices, they run things a little more traditionally, and that is a possibility. If you don't use it, you lose it.
What did our hiking gang friend say about theirs?
Oh, their schedules out west are very funny. Well, there's only one hospital system, I think, that still does it. They have to.
It was only that one.
I think so. They really have to like work 4 shifts. They have to like work an extra. I don't know. I have no idea how to explain it, but it was really weird.
And from what we were understanding, that particular hospital, you only got, was it?
Oh, and their accrual was a lot less.
Yeah, it was like 8 hours for every.
I think it was less than 8 hours. Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it was. It was 8 hours a month instead of 8 hours every pay period, like we do. Yeah, they accrued it a lot slower, and they also had to work like a random extra shift.
Yeah.
In like a 4-week period. Very strange the way they did it, but apparently that healthcare system is making a change, so they will no longer be doing that.
Did she say that?
The schedule, but not about the accrual rate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But PTO doesn't stand for prepare the others.
Right. It's paid time off, not potentially time optional.
And that's your scrub hack for the week, because we work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. If it saves you 5 headaches and 1 meltdown, that's a win.
So before we were in leadership, how did you use your PTO?
Never.
I was gonna say,
I can't even.
This pre-made line does not.
I can't. Yeah, no, I never used my PTO. And that was actually one thing that my manager was like, you really need to take PTO.
Yeah, you work yourself like a dog.
I don't.
Ridiculous.
No, I don't work myself like a dog. A dog doesn't work at all, actually.
Yeah, actually, this guy over here, he's not working at all.
But no, I do understand the importance of not. I was okay with using RTO, but my mental fortitude is different than most other people. And I think it allowed me to, I mean, kind of like Colby was saying, we were able to cash out money or, PTO.
That was a huge incentive. That was a huge incentive for me to use RTO over PTO because I wanted to be able to cash it out when I was just a poor young lady.
But really and truly, when you think about it, it does help at the moment, but in taxes wise, it could really hurt somebody.
Yeah, if you're not smart. Yeah, definitely don't try and cash out 300 hours at once because that will definitely come back and kick you in the pants come April. But but if you did it, if you had I think I was really good at finding the balance of using RTO, using PTO and still cashing stuff out. I was pretty crafty with it. I didn't do it a lot. It definitely worked a lot. There was a time period before around year 5, 6 of my nursing career where I was picking up extra right before COVID, maybe the year before COVID. And I was working 60 hours weeks because they also had this incentive program where if you signed up for 5 extra shifts, you would get $1,000 bonus after you worked them all in a 6-week period. And that was a hype way to get money back in the day. So I would be busting my tail to do all of that. But caveat, asterisk on the end of that, I burn?
She raised her hand.
I did. I said, but I did burn myself out really bad. There was a good solid amount of time where I felt so burned out in healthcare, and I think I'm still climbing out of that hole right now. Yeah, it's not the smartest thing to do. I'm you really have to find the balance and take care of yourself because it's so easy to get down go down that hill and just get stuck down there and just hate everything about your job. So you have to just stay in tune with yourself and make sure that you are taking time to recharge.
Yeah. And it goes back to what I was saying last episode. There's an importance in being able to take time and be retrospective and introspective in who you are as a nurse, and to really just take the time to say, what do I feel right now? Is this sustainable at this present moment? And how is it going to feel in the next 2 months, 2 weeks?
If you keep this up,
all those things. And I think that's growth, to be able to realize that before you get to a point where you're I'm done. Because we want you to be sustained and be able to sustain yourself throughout your career. This is a great career to be in, and PTO is one way to be able to keep that going.
Yeah, find that sustainability in it for sure. I think it's wild how early in your career you see PTO as a luxury, but later on you realize it's survival.
Yeah.
You really have to, especially these days. Now I definitely look back at it where that balance, talking about it right now, offers a lot of reflection for me. I think nowadays I'm okay, I need this. I need this, and I revel in it when I get that time off. It's been a little bit since I've transitioned to the new job, and I feel a lot of the holidays just came, and a lot of people spend time with their families around the holidays, and I didn't get to do that this year because I worked all of the days around each individual holiday. I'm looking forward to being able to take time off soon, and I don't have anything on the books yet, so I'm about ready to sit down and take a look and see plan ahead. What can I plan ahead?
Right.
Yeah.
You have a whole new year now. Which is important. So now that we're in management, using PTO hits different. There's a little bit more planning and more delegation and sometimes more guilt.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm dealing with. You don't want to leave your team short, but you also can't lead well if you're running on fumes.
It's that balance and modeling self-care while still keeping coverage stable.
Yeah. I think it's also like it's that balance. It's also that mental balance. And you don't struggle with this. I don't even have to say probably. But for me, it's like being so fresh in management, I have that like that fear still of like, I know what people said about past management that I worked under. Not that I said these things, but I know what people said, like, oh, they're always on vacation. They're on vacation again. They took time off again. Like, we're here busting our tails. And I'm like, it almost makes me a little bit scared to be like, to take PTO. Like, I feel like, I've only been in this role since November. That doesn't mean that I haven't been working my tail off, because I have been. But it's like, is it too soon for me to take any time off? Like, I feel like it's not. I feel like it would be a little bit. I think it would be judged if I was taking time off too soon. So, so my schedule has been jam packed. My personal and career schedule has been jam packed right now because I don't want to take any time off. It's such a transition going from working 3 days a week to working 5/8 and trying to find the balance in everything I used to do in my life for the last 11 years and continue doing it in a much smaller amount of time for my personal activities outside of my work.
Is it actually a smaller amount of time?
Yeah, because I would have whole days off.
Yeah, but I get it. But if we were to think about it, you have 48 hours on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have to go in until 8 o'clock.
I go in at 7:30, but
Okay,
yeah.
7:30.
Get out at 4:30.
And so you have 4:30 to 9. I'm assuming you go to sleep at a normal time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4.5 hours, Monday through Friday, which is 5. That's 20 hours there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it is less time.
It's less time. Yeah.
Okay, 68 hours.
Yeah. So it's not that much less time. I mean, that's enough time to get things done. It feels a little more jam packed these days, and I don't have as much free hours that didn't have any plans. I don't really have any free hours that didn't have any plans these days. So when I do, they don't last very long. Like,
Right.
Somebody asked me to do something and I'm like, where can I squeeze that in? Okay, here's that hour. Even doing the podcast today, it was like, okay, where can I squeeze this in this week? Because I have I do have like a long weekend plan this weekend. So it is tricky. It's very tricky.
So are you taking PTO this weekend?
I'm leaving Friday after work.
I think after management. So one thing, and I can hear Tara Lynn saying it now. So last year, and I think all of y'all might remember if you listen to this podcast, I had, did I really actually not have that on the card? Let's see. Oh, I don't have it anywhere. Did I use it 2 years ago?
I think it was 2024.
What? Really?
Yeah. 25 was a whirlwind.
Oh my gosh, where did it go? Okay, so 2 years ago, I had take 40 hours of actual PTO. Wow, that was 2 years ago. Wow. I swore that was last year. Okay, so
it's a reality check.
Wow, yeah, that really threw me for a loop. So I, taking actual 40 hours of PTO, and I did do that. This year, I did not.
What is it this year? What's your goal for 2026 though? What did you say? Is it 80?
No, yeah, this year is 80 hours of PTO, so doubling what I did in 2024.
Because you have to make up for what you didn't use in 25.
Yeah, because I did not make. Well, I'm trying to think. My Canada trip was the 23rd through the 27th. So 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I had to take some PTO there.
But didn't you leave like on a Wednesday? You think you took maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah. And I think I ended up still doing some work from the hotel in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Probably in the airport.
Yeah, I know. I do remember doing that because I legitimately was sending emails in the airport. And then New York was just 2 days, the 14th, 15th, and then 16th.
Yeah.
Because we left early 14th.
7 a.m.
Yeah. And then we came back late 16th.
Mm.
So it was 3 days. And I didn't do anything then.
Oh, but it was in the middle of the week. I thought it was a Sunday. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's not 40 hours,
But it's
though.
not, it was, yeah, I still did not take 40 hours.
So you still have you have time to make up.
Oh, for sure. But I say all of that because it's one thing that I really do struggle, but I harp on so much with other people. I'm like, you've got to take PTO. I'm like, you've got to do it.
Hypocrite.
Well, yes.
Okay. Oh, I'd love to do this. Remember, every finger that you point, there's three
more
back at
pointing
you. Every time you tell someone to take PTO, remember, there's 3 people pointing back at you.
3 more.
3 more fingers.
That's why I'm just going to do like this.
Yeah. Just like a whole hand. Careful the angle of that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
I don't think you should do that, actually.
Probably shouldn't. But yeah, so after management, I'm learning that I do need to take PTO, and
we have to be good example setters.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the hope, right? Is to take PTO to be examples.
Mm-hmm.
Good leaders use their PTO and encourage their teams to do the same. If you never take time off, your staff won't feel like they can either.
I think that perfectly wraps up that section.
Yep. Make me feel bad. Great job.
All right. Well, as management, we do have to observe staff PTO habits. Have you ever noticed patterns with how people use or don't use their PTO?
Well, I know how people abuse PTO.
Yeah.
My goodness, I know how they abuse PTO and RTO.
Yeah.
Both.
It happens.
But some nurses save it for big events. Others never take any because they feel guilty.
Yep. Or like you said, it's the opposite. And there's ones who burn through it like Starbucks gift cards.
Boom. The key is balance, regular rest, planned resets, and time that's truly yours. What's the word? Well, the worst I've seen, I'll start this one. Mm-hmm. The worst I've seen is that how do I say this? People pay attention to not only their schedule.
Oh, that's true.
But every other person's schedule. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's someone that they might not necessarily prefer or like. Mm-hmm. And, most people on a unit, they have good conversations, and they'll have conversations not even knowing that they're saying information that could be used against them. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, there is somebody that's wanting to be off for one day, but because they said something, and in earshot of what somebody else could hear, they lose that opportunity.
Yeah, there's definitely some. You have keep things close to your chest, people.
Yeah.
That's human nature, right? Like, not everybody's gonna get along. There's there might be a bad apple in the bunch, or whatever analogy that you want to use. Like, I think it sucks because it takes away, like do I want to have these like close personal relationships with people?
Right.
Do I want to be able to talk about my life and what's going on while I'm at work? You know, because you work with your coworkers. We've talked about it before. We become very close with them. Sometimes we spend more time with them than we do our families, and then
more than likely,
and then there's just not everybody gets along, and that's that's just part of life. But then it can turn into something else. Like, yep, I believe that it happened. I can imagine that it did. It's very tricky. I think that's a tough one because it's like, well, that other person asked first. Like, that's something that you have to deal with and, I guess make a choice about like I said, got to keep things close to your chest and decide if you really want something, or just make sure that, if you're sharing information, do you really want to other people to know that information, and I don't mean just the person that you're telling. You have to think about the greater scheme of things. And that sucks, and that says a lot about a culture, and maybe there's some things that need to be fixed. I think there's always room for improvement in workplace settings, so that might be something that needs to happen. But I think, that sucks. I don't know what else to say it.
Yeah, it was bad. And it was like, they knew, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't. Like I don't,
as a manager,
I'm in
it's
the
like,
office. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of out of my hands. Like, I can't help that they asked for the certain days off before you could come in and ask for them. But I do have to say, like, with the exception of like in my previous role and my previous jobs, I think my unit, while it wasn't my favorite way to sign up for PTO, it was a very fair system. And so it was just like, we just accepted it. We had late fall. They would open up your 2026 vacation requests. There would be 3 rounds, and the first round would be like, request your most wanted 2 weeks, and you can ask for 2 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. And so most people got their summer request in first, because everybody usually wants to take summer off.
Right.
And if there was and it's first come, first serve. So the email goes out and it's like at midnight on the 21st. And so, I mean, day shift, it has to be equal for night shift and day shift. So if you think about it, like, it gives the night shift people the opportunity while they're awake to do that. And then, if day shift really wants to be cutthroat about it, they can wake up at 12 o'clock in the morning and send their email out.
Or you could draft that and schedule it.
Not a lot of people know about scheduling email, but that is a thing. Welcome to that little tidbit of information that could change your way you sign up for PTO on my old unit next year. But so like, everybody would get it in, and then if there were multiple people that requested the same week and it went over the amount of allotted, like, nurses are allowed to take that much time off that week, they would say, like, hey, we don't have any more PTO offered on that week. There is X amount of PTO offered, like, the week before or the week after, and, like, would you be interested in either one of those? But it's still something you have to, it's quick. You got to reply fast, because somebody else could have, also requested that. So, and then after everybody had their first round picks, then we would do a second one, and then we would do a third one. And then, of course, there would be leftover PTO available on different months of the year. And then we would just look ahead. We schedule ourselves out 6 weeks at a time, and we would look ahead if there, before we signed up, and was like, oh, I wonder if I can sneak these 24 hours in. Like, I have the PTO and it's open, and let me just send an email, and our administrative assistant would look at it and say yes or no with the guidance of our managers. So it was super fair. It sucked sometimes when you didn't get, your email in first. I've been denied vacation during a certain week that I really, really wanted, but it is what it is. You get it in first or you don't.
Yeah.
And I think that it really, as far as around holidays and around summertime, when those big PTO request time of year happens, like, there has to be some kind of rule or guidance around it. It can't be a free for all, because then it gets into the point where, like, for example, there's a situation going on where there was an individual who requested time off around the holidays for 2026 at the holidays on 2025, and, like, there's no real rule around it that you can't, but I don't think it's very fair for everybody else who's not even thinking about Christmas 2026 when it's Christmas 2025 right now and they're living in their moment. But next year, when they want to go see their family and they can't because someone else got asked, I'm like, we got to get some kind of rule around here so that there's, like, a fair opportunity for everybody to have the thought to cross their mind and then decide at that moment, no, I don't want that time off. Or, I've been wanting, Christmas week off for 2 years, but I haven't been,
able to do it.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do it because during Christmas itself, I'm enthralled with Christmas and I'm living in the moment or whatever, So there's definitely some conversation to be had and some system to be put into place in my area.
Yeah, and I think this is a little like aside as a manager who's or like someone who's been in management for a couple of years now. You got to stick with it. Whatever you decide as a manager to make as a like guideline or a guidance or whatever you want to call it,
You have to be consistent.
You got to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's down to the little thing of that one day slips into where it would be wrong. You have to deny the whole thing, or it'd be like, I can only give you up to
that day. Mm-hmm.
Which as a manager, it's really frustrating because you're like, I could just give you this day and it'd be fine, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But you want to be able to be looked at as equitable. And my manager would always say, what you do for one, you have to be prepared to, mm-hmm. you have to be prepared to do for all. Mm-hmm. And, that's.
And the reality is you can't do it for all. That's why there's rule there around a specific day or what have you for a reason. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So, yeah. And I mean, I've seen people try to take 3-4 days, 4 weeks of PTO. They have it. And I'm like, I mean, and it all depends on what your health system says. Like if you're able to take it off, then, technically your manager might not have grounds to be like, nope, can't do that.
Yeah.
And good for you if you have that amount of PTO to take off a whole month.
Yeah, I could never.
Well, I mean, what?
You probably could.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah. That makes sense.
160 hours, yeah? 40 is 1 week times 4, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely do that.
Bliss.
Which is why I'm taking 80 this year. That's why.
Yeah.
I can do this. Good old 80.
We're harping a little bit, but it's all true facts. I mean, the key is balance, right? Regular rest, plan resets, time that's truly yours. You do have the right to earn it, to use it, what you earned. But it's just all about balance. Can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't chart on one either. So,
all right, class dismissed. That's a wrap for today's session of Nursing Life 101.
We hope this episode reminded you that rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement.
Take your time off, enjoy it, and come back refreshed. Nursing is demanding, but it shouldn't take everything from you.
You can find us on Twitter/X at NurseLife101, life is spelled with a Y, Facebook at NursingLife101, or Instagram at nursing_life with a Y _101.
Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. And tell us how you spend your PTO using #NursingLYFE recharge.
Until next time, take care of yourselves, your patients, and your peace.